Hey, I'm Grant. It's episode 5 of Digression Bar.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Jamie.
All right, so I've been editing a bunch of podcasts, and I feel like one of the issues that we have is we get really excited and interesting, but not till like the last half when we're all arguing. So I want to get this started off right, and I'm going to fight with Jamie. Okay?
Fight?
Yeah.
Is it with spaghetti or?
Yes. Spaghetti is a lazy dish, and it's terrible, and I hate it. Jamie, do you have any issues with that?
Everything about that is wrong, except that it is lazy. But
It is
an
lazy.
amazing.
It's a terrible dish.
It's an amazing dish
How is it amazing, Jamie?
because I don't know. It's pasta, and I love spaghetti.
It is so lazy. Not only
I don't know how to describe why it's good. It's just you have to accept that it is.
I just don't understand. Like, one, it's like a thing of spaghetti. You don't mix the sauce with the noodles. That's like the final step. Like, you always put noodles entirely plain, and then you put sauce on top. Every other dish, you would mix it with the sauce.
Not
'cause then you're
necessarily. Like fettuccine, Alfredos, and stuff like that are like that as well.
Isn't fettuccine Alfredo just mac and cheese?
I don't know. I never was a big fan of it. My sister was, though.
So that is my stance. Podcast number 3, it was about peas and salads. Today it's spaghetti's terrible, and I hate it.
I don't know. I feel like spaghetti is a half-assed dish.
Is there a pun?
Well, it's a callback to my camping in Chris's spaghetti.
Oh, I got it.
Everything.
Yes.
Okay, right.
Keep your mic near your face.
It's like 2 inches away from my mouth.
But then you start talking quieter.
That would be full ass then, right?
Yeah, but half-assed is back to like, the lazy part.
But yeah, that's my stance. And I feel like it's something my parents would make. Not that they're lazy cooks, but I remember not liking it because it's like, I don't understand it. It's wet noodles and then a sauce which is decent, but it's on top. And there's never enough sauce to cover all the noodles. And there's meatballs, but I don't see how they tie in. Like, it just seems like there's 3 separate things they put on top of each other on a plate, and they don't go together whatsoever.
The thing is, I just grew up with it a lot. We just had it a lot, so I guess I just grew to love it.
But you said it comes with meatballs, but it doesn't always come with meatballs. That's why it's called spaghetti and meatball.
Point is, it doesn't matter because it doesn't add or take anything away from the dish. They're just unrelated.
Well, yeah, because you could just put meatballs in it or you could not, but then it's not just spaghetti, it's spaghetti and meatballs. The other thing, though, is I'm not a fan. See, I'm not a fan of tomatoes, okay? I don't like tomatoes. I usually don't like sauces that include tomatoes. I tolerate pizza because there's so much other great shit in the pizza that I just deal with the tomato sauce in it. So that's why I don't like spaghetti in general.
We should go to My Pie, which is down there. Or any pizza place, but
Down where?
it's down on 120th and Blondo.
Okay.
But you can get like a couple different pizzas that don't have any tomatoes. Like, there's ones now that, like, we get one from Roman Coin. We haven't gone there, but I went there to work, right?
I went there. Well, I had it as a kid a few times.
It's a ranch-based sauce. There's no tomatoes whatsoever. Or you can get one that's just like blue cheese, no tomatoes. And you would love that. Because, yeah, no tomatoes, which, fuck you, tomatoes are amazing.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. But also, a dish that's lazier than spaghetti is butter pasta, where you literally just get butter and you melt it into the noodles, and that's your sauce. So if that's the epitome of lazy, though.
True. I always thought that about broccoli and cheese soup. It just seems like I have this broccoli, and I want to be healthy, but to make it durable, I have to have so much cheese that it's a soup. I never understood that. It seemed like a dish that is ridiculous. But small rant I had as a parent is I never liked tomatoes as a kid, and I didn't have them that much. But I later learned it's because my parents don't know how to take care of food. Specifically, my dad and Ellie, they have this thing, they love BLTs. But literally everything about the BLT is wrong. Everything. So first off.
Of theirs?
Yes, their BLT. I'm okay with BLTs, just not their BLTs. First off, over toast the bread before you cook it at all. Just toast the bread until it's like almost black.
That's what they do.
Yes. 2, have tomatoes, but you keep in the fridge, which makes them all squishy and they don't hold their form and they're terrible, which is why I hate it. It wasn't until later that I know you're not supposed to do that. Still got tomatoes over there. You put them in the fridge, it ruins them. They didn't know that. So basically it's like super soggy tomatoes, iceberg lettuce, which is terrible and should not exist, romaine all the way, and then freaking bacon fried until it's just basically crackers. And then you just put that all together and you cook it on like a skillet, and then you hate yourself because you eat it.
That sounds like just essentially things cooked to the point of where they're just hardened carbon.
Yeah. But it's like the fact that the toast is overcooked and all like black makes it like the bacon like is all crumbly. It's just crumbs. And then it's crumbs held together by like really soggy tomatoes and like a bunch of torn up iceberg lettuce that's wet and cold. It's a terrible sandwich. I hate it.
But your sister and your dad love it.
I think, well, my sister is like got like Stockholm syndrome for eating it, so it's kind of an exception. Also, favorite movie growing up of Ellie's? Star Wars Episode 1, Phantom Menace.
Really?
Yeah, she loved that, so.
I mean, okay. I loved the prequels when I was younger. And I understand, like, the Phantom Menace, the first one, is a piece of garbage. I understand Episode 2 is also, but not as much of a piece of garbage. And Episode 3, mainly it's just the bad acting. But overall, I think it's an okay movie other than that. But they hold a special part in my heart because I was fucking... Oh, I do have a story. Okay, speaking of Star Wars Episode 1. Okay, so I was really excited to go see Star Wars Episode 1 when it came out. And I was like 5 or... I was probably like 6 or something. Like, this was... I think we were in first grade.
That would sound about right, I'm sure.
And my mom made the mistake of buying a picture book, that had images from the movie and the narrative of the movie in the picture book. So I knew beforehand that's who lived and who died in the movie. And in the car on the way to the movie, I, like a dumbass 6-year-old, was like, "Hey, Dad, did you know that Qui-Gon Jinn, Liam Neeson's character, dies at the end?" And he was pissed. He just like fucking like hit the steering wheel and was like, "What are you talking about?"
I'm ashamed to admit, I was listening to a podcast, I think like a month or so ago, and they were talking about it. And they're like, "Oh yeah, it was a Phantom Menace. I remember that because Emperor Palpatine, he was a Phantom Menace." I'm like, I never thought about that was the reason for the title. Is a Phantom Menace was Emperor Palpatine. Now, I just like, oh, it's a title. I never actually made a connection that they're talking about something in the story.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just something that never occurred to me. I feel like there's a lot of stuff like that where I didn't understand it till years later. Like, oh,
You only see him as in the hologram that looks like a ghostly figure too
it's true.
in that movie. You don't see him
He's a phantom.
until episode 2. You see him in episode 2 with just him in his cloak, but you don't see his face completely. Yeah. He's just like walking with Count Dooku, and that's before you're necessarily supposed to know. Mm-hmm. Like half of people knew that it was him and half the people didn't.
Jamie's fucking dying over there because she would not stop talking about Danny Phantom before the podcast. Like before you came over, she's like, Danny Phantom. That's all she was talking about. Danny Phantom. And now that I said that, now she's cracking up.
There's no story behind it. It was just Danny Phantom. I mean,
that was a good show.
I never watched Danny Phantom. Well, I mean, I've seen the episode or two. I haven't.
I don't think it went on that long. It was on Nickelodeon, yeah. But it was just something. It's like, oh, it was a cool premise. It would have been cool to go longer. I don't know how long it actually went, but yeah. Anything else about Star Wars Episode 1 you want to rant about? I can go back to my food rant about. That's why I didn't like tomatoes as a kid.
One thing, even when I was 6 years old, and I wasn't a huge, critic of acting or anything like that. There was one thing in Star Wars Episode 1 that made it into the film, and all copies of the film, I'm sure until years after when George Lucas did his thing where he goes in and changes stuff that's inside the movies, even though not everyone will have that version anymore because, they had older versions, was there's, the big battle between, like, the Gungans and the droids at the end, and there's, like, the shield and whatever. There's a part where, like, the tank, I think it was when the tanks roll up, and, like, right before they start shooting at the shield for, like, 10 minutes, like, they start shooting, then you leave, and eventually they come back, and they're still shooting until it's, like, not this fucking stupid, let's stop this, and send the droids, is that there's a part where there was a problem in the film where there was, older movies or stuff like that, sometimes there'd be, like, that white film that, like, scrolls down the screen. It's kind of like snowy. That made it into the final version of the movie. And I remember even at 6 years old, that bothered me. Like, how did that make it into this film? Because I noticed it in the theater, and then the copy at...
They just might not have been able to remove it.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about it to say why it was, but I guess if it was just on like the source film. But yeah, it seems weird. Like it's something you could probably fix now, where you could heavily digitize it and just like paint it all out painstakingly. But yeah, I mean, it might have just been like hard to take it out without that, because it was shot on film, I think, and they have like some digital stuff. But I'm guessing it wasn't something like, oh, you have it on the monitor as you're working. It was probably like, we built all these math equations, export, and now we can finally see what it looks like or something.
I feel like it was only like a second or two long though, so I feel like you could have easily just edited that part, just like that scene, that little bit out.
Yeah, I wonder what the reason for that was.
So on the topic of food, I do have a story about what happened this morning. I was in my kitchen this morning before I had class, and I was digging around in the cupboards, but I dug around the cupboards up on top of the fridge, you know, the ones that you barely ever go into.
At my house?
In my house, I was in my house, but like, you know, the cupboards above the fridge that are like this small, like you put like really small things in there. Well, I was looking in there in my kitchen at home, and I pulled out a thing of pop, like with a liter, the 2 liter or something, and I looked at the date of it, and it was from 2008, and it was obviously bad, and it was like kind of crunched in like this, but it wasn't opened, so I just like tossed it in the trash. And I wanted to ask my family about that, like why no one has touched this pop.
You should have brought it over. We could have drank it on the podcast.
It looked like it could have been a disease.
I used to think that, you know, like with pop, as long as it's sealed, pretty much it's okay. Just like, because there's carbonation and the sugar and all that stuff, like not much is going to be in there if it's sealed. And so I don't think it's much of like illness in there. But man, there's a can of pop that I found in my basement. It was a long time when I really wanted pop and didn't have any other pops. I'm like, you know what? I'll fucking try this. It's a year or two older at this point. I'm like, and it shouldn't be germy, shouldn't be contaminated or anything. I pop it, drink, and I'm like, this tastes like shit. So apparently they do expire, but probably not because of contamination issues, mainly just because something happens to the chemical compound that doesn't taste the way it's supposed to anymore.
What's the cabinet above the fridge even for then?
I think like pots and pans you don't necessarily use a lot. I don't think you're meant to put food up there because it's like not easily accessible. The only thing I think, that's what my parents kept there, was like, oh, we have a pan that we never use, we put it up there.
That's why I'm surprised why my family had put a thing of pop up in that cabinet, because obviously no one would use it.
I thought you just put like small cookbooks up there.
Yeah, I guess I could see that too. I guess it just depends on your fridge. Like, there's one like in the corner behind my fridge. It'd be a pain to get into. But if you have a fridge that's like more recessed and you can easily just reach up there, it'd be fine. I don't know. It feels like there's a purpose for that. You know, like this is meant for something. Because every kitchen has it. I don't know why.
Yep. I feel like it's just something you don't use a lot.
You should have seen, so I was editing podcast number 3, which is the one we had Ellie Skype in, and you should have heard her audio track. It was like the most alien sounding thing ever, because I had to run a filter to take out a bunch of the noise. So it was literally like, just like imagine like the War of the World sound, just like modulated.
The War of the World sound, like.
Oh, well,
I should have saved the sample.
Are you thinking like the, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like that buzzing sound before the attack or whatever.
Maybe I'll see if I can get out a sample.
Which War of the Worlds are you talking about?
I think of the new one. I'm thinking of
the new one too.
Her dad loves that one.
That's like one of his favorite movies because one of the scenes like reminds him of a dream he had reoccurring as a kid.
Wait, which one?
In the new movie, it's when they're in the backyard or whatever, and the storm's rolling in, and there's like the aliens are coming in. Yes, so the storm's coming in, and that's his dream that he had as a kid. But we watched it a lot because he loved it.
My favorite story is when you came home and your dad was watching Dragon Ball Evolution, like the shitty live action one. And like, I think you said you came in like, Dad, what are you watching? Well, did he ever say anything about that?
Okay, so I came home and I hear them watching a movie because they always seem to watch a movie. And my dad's like, hey, Jamie, I just found this movie. It's called Dragon Ball. Do you want to watch it? And then I remember distinctly that you guys had said it was not a good movie. And I'm like,
it's not a good
no,
movie.
thank you, Dad. No, thank you. And he's like, why? It sounds like something you would like. And I'm like,
do you remember that movie?
I do. It was fun to watch, but it was terrible. I didn't even.
Yeah, it was
I
just
hadn't
like all
even
over the
really
place.
seen much of Dragon Ball besides like I had a second cousin who used to really like it, but he had like the VHS tapes.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched a couple episodes.
Which they finally like regained from that because they came out with Resurrection F and Battle of the Gods, which are both really good, but they're the animated ones. And they came out like 2 years ago. I heavily recommend those. But basically everything after Resurrection F, Dragon Ball Evolution just stopped because it was like, hey, this is awesome new live action, and then it was terrible. So we could watch that sometime, some Dragon Ball. It'd be fun. Make a drinking game out of it.
Okay. Oh shit! I wanted to.
Oh, yes, you've seen Dragon Ball Abridged, haven't you?
I've seen a few episodes. I think because I think that was the summer.
69. Yeah.
What?
Me and some guys from school. We started a band. We tried real hard. I think that's my favorite song.
So that's probably when you just introduced me to Dragon Ball.
I thought you saw. Anyway, I'd heavily recommend it. Like the first stuff is a little dated now, but they do a surprisingly good job of making it funny, but keeping it true to like what actually happens.
Yeah.
Like I honestly think watching the new animated stuff like Resurrection F, I definitely think that like the characters like Vegeta, Goku, and stuff are heavily influenced now by the Abridged series.
Really?
Yeah, because the guys that make Abridged are in that movie too.
Wait, what?
Yeah, because it's a big fan project essentially. So they play voices in the movie. It's really awesome.
Huh.
It really is just a bridge. They take everything, make it funny, cut it down, but it still like feels like the same characters. Like if Vegeta could drop an F-bomb, that's totally how he would drop an F-bomb.
Yeah.
It's very true. I mean, yeah, there's silly stuff. Muffin Button is probably a little bit too silly. You know Muffin Button. I feel like that was
Where did you get that button?
Muffin Button.
But I didn't install a muffin button.
I love that series. Though
And where did I get this muffin?
they have great stuff now. They've done, I think they did some Final Fantasy VII. I don't know if they already finished that up, but they were redubbing that.
They had one season that was really funny. I felt like, even though that seems really close to it, I feel like they made it seem like Tifa's more of a bitch to Cloud than I think she was. Even though I do feel like Tifa was kind of like lead. Like first off, like there's just stuff like the whole not telling him. Like she knew for a long time that things he was saying and remembered were definitely not how things happened, but she didn't say anything.
I feel like the Abridged they're trying to write is written for people who know the ending.
Yeah.
You know, and like that's like that, where it kind of makes sense that she'd be a bitch.
Yeah.
And things, but like you don't necessarily know that going in. I remember Final Fantasy VII was the first Final Fantasy game I played. And it was like such like all over the place with the story. It's like, I don't even know how to spoil this. Like going,
because if I tell you something, you will not remember it in any sort of context. That won't mean anything to you until you play it.
and it sounds like you're just like constantly making up stuff like there's X and he does Y, but then there's also Z and D is happening. It's like, you're just making stuff up. It's like, but when you play the game, it's so long. It's like, yeah, of course. That's exactly how this would go down.
And also your life is a lie.
Yeah, I'm trying to like talk around spoilers. So, but
Well, I guess
Final Fantasy VIII is the best one. If you tell a story of that, it's just, it sounds stupid.
I feel like we actually might have to be careful of spoilers now for Final Fantasy VII because they're going to be doing that remake. Like 100%. Like, I guess I don't know. I think it's supposed to be the exact story.
I'm guessing they're probably going to hit the main points and then just...
But like, I mean, it's not going to be like created moment for moment, but it's going to be like, okay, so this thing happened in it, so this thing's going to happen in this one. This thing happened in it, so this is going to be happening in this one. It's not like, because they're ditching the whole, was it ATB?
Yeah, action time battle.
Yeah. System that they had in 3 or 7. So...
Makes sense.
So obviously, like things are going to like, oh, he hit him, and then that person got beat the shit out of, so they were able to do their limit break, and you fuck that guy up. And Tifa, you're fucking messed up all of her hits in her
I
limit
specifically
breaks.
did not use Tifa because I hated her fucking limit break.
Back to the War of the Worlds, because before we get off, I'm going way back here. Like War of the Worlds, like creeped me out. Like I remember my dad I watched the original War of the Worlds, and that was creepy. Special effects. By the way, what they did with special effects back then, like I didn't realize that was made in like 1953 or
The original
something
one?
like that. Like ridiculously long time ago for what they had. And I remember like watching a little bit of something. And it's like why they decided to make them be flying essentially saucers and not tripods like in the original H.G. Wells was because they wanted to do tripods, but they couldn't make it look good enough for them to move around and have legs. So they decided like, okay, we're going to ditch this and hang them from wires. And keep the tripod feel by saying like, oh, they're suspended by like 3 tractor beam legs. That's why they move like that. But I was going to say, what bothered me about the new War of the Worlds was, so it was a kind of a cool idea. It's like, oh, the alien machinery has been in the ground for a long time, and they just essentially just jettisoned themselves into the pods. But if you like look, like, and they even show like a slow motion, like there's a part where there's like a news team.
Oh yeah, I know exactly
and
what you're
they
talking
show the video
about.
of like the pods going in. I'm like, there's no way those alien fats like fit in those little tiny pods that went through the holes that were like this big. It's like, yeah, the machine could have been there, but there's no way the alien got in that hole and survived that unless they were like shrunk.
They're advanced.
I'm just gathering sound clips. I'm gonna make like Andrew narrates a porno. It's going to be like going hard in Boy Scouts. There's no way the alien fit in that hole.
I do have to say, with that movie, the new movie, there's like a scene in the Scary Movie where it's an iPod or something. Yeah, and I just think of that one.
I was
too.
thinking the Michael Jackson one.
That's in the third one.
I don't know the Michael Jackson.
I remember because I watched it in your basement with you.
It's like the kid. There's like a young kid, and he's stuck between Michael Jackson and a tripod, and he runs towards the tripod because Michael Jackson.
Oh no, that would be the fourth one then. Because I know, is Michael Jackson in multiple of them then?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You're thinking of the Signs one,
Yeah.
right? Where his nose falls off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one too.
Well, no, his nose doesn't fall off. He's being held by his nose, and he falls off.
Oh yeah.
Another scene I just remember from Scary Movie, because I haven't seen very many of them, is the one with the ring, I think, and they're watching the video and like the spinning chair on
That's
the ceiling.
also a sign. No, that's also a sign.
I think it came out. The director came out that he confirmed that the fan theory of that was true.
Wait, what?
That they aren't aliens; they're actually demons.
For signs?
Yeah.
So they're saying they're not aliens, they're demons?
Yeah. That's why, and they're not hurt by water, but that dude was a priest. It was holy water. That's why I burned him. And he came out saying that was actually what was happening.
Oh.
Wait,
I want to say that's a fan theory. Let me look this up. We can use technology.
Okay.
But if I recall, that was the thing.
No, that's movie signs maybe.
But
Okay.
I'll have to look it up after. But that was a big theory. I thought the director came out and said it was true, was that they were actually demons.
The Scary Movie is the one that had Charlie Sheen in it. Bruce Willis, I thought, was in.
I don't know actors, which I don't know. Have I said the story about two actors? I always get confused.
I don't know if you talked about it on the podcast, though.
I always confuse Bill Murray and the dude from Forrest Gump.
Which dude?
The main dude. Who is it?
Tom Hanks?
Tom Hanks, yes. Ellie always hates this too. I don't know why. They're interchangeable to me.
I am.
I always forget Tom Hanks and think of Bill Murray. That's what it is. It never goes the other way.
Okay.
I'm never like, man, remember Tom Hanks and Ghostbusters? I never do that. It's always like, man, Forrest Gump with Bill Murray, and then people like look at me like I'm crazy. I do that, and I've gotten better because I talk about this story. But for some reason, those two.
I'm notoriously bad with names. Mm-hmm. Which I'll also say another story really quick after this. That's on the subject, and we'll get back to E3. Mm-hmm. I would never ever confuse Tom Hanks and Bill Murray, ever. Like there's just no way.
They're different.
No.
I don't know why. It's only those two actors,
I don't know, man.
and I don't know any other actors besides that.
Well, you know Charlie Sheen.
I do know that.
Well, I mean, maybe you don't because you said Bruce Willis was Charlie Sheen. No, wasn't
No, well,
Bruce
he was
Willis.
in Signs.
No. It wasn't. It was. Oh, God damn! It wasn't even Bruce Willis because Bruce Willis is in The Sixth Sense. What I'm thinking of is
I do have to say I love The Sixth Sense as a movie.
I have yet to see it.
Passion of the Christ. I saw him. Mel Gibson. Thank you. Mel Gibson's who you're thinking of.
Grant, you haven't seen Sixth Sense?
No, we've been over this.
Oh yeah, that movie makes me cry every.
No, fuck you. Because you always like, oh my God, Grant, I saw this movie. I loved it. You should watch it. Like, oh, we can watch it Thursday. No, I already saw it. I don't want to see it again. And that's why I don't watch the movie.
I love Sixth Sense, but I cry every time. Every time I cry. And I can't even tell you which scenes I cry at because you haven't seen it.
Have you seen the movie 50 First Dates?
I don't think I have.
When you started saying, have you seen the movie 50? It's like, oh, wow. And then I forgot. Because like now I think of 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh.
And I was like, wow.
Cry every time.
Have you? It's a Adam Sandler.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I just haven't seen it, I don't think.
Okay, you should watch that movie.
You think I'll cry?
I doubt you'll cry. You might cry at the very, very, very end, maybe.
We should watch Memento.
But because 51st Date is a comedy, but The Sixth Sense is an important part of the movie.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, like that's a important part of the film.
If you've seen the movie, you probably know what scenes I've cried at.
Well, I haven't, Jamie.
I want to say one thing. There's a kid in the movie Sixth Sense that like looks exactly like my dad when he was a kid. and it freaks me out. Like the pictures that he's shown me of him as a kid look exactly like the kid in the movie.
Okay, so E3.
E3, many stuff coming. I actually haven't listened to too much, but I saw a trailer on Reddit that caught my eye. I'm like, is that what I think it is? Have you ever heard of a game called Beyond Good and Evil?
I've heard of it.
It was free on Xbox like a year ago, and I grabbed it, and I was like, seems neat, and I just like sat down one weekend, like, I want to play this. It is very good. I think it was a PS2 good game. And it was like one of those games that just like sat around like, oh yeah, we're totally making the sequel.
Yeah.
Let me see if I have the trailer. And then they
I
announced
remember
it.
they kind of been talking about that for a while, and I thought they said like it was actually going to just be Beyond Good and Evil 2 was really just going to be Beyond Good and Evil 1, just new.
It's a prequel. And
It's a prequel?
Yeah. I think that's what I heard.
Down. Yeah. Up.
It's just like a game that individually everything in it is kind of weird, but something about it is just everything is great about it. Like, what do you know about it?
I know there's a pig guy.
There is a pig guy. In fact, like everyone's like a pig, not a pig animal person. There's also humans, and it's never something they like talk about. It's just a thing, and it doesn't take place on Earth. It's just some other planet, and they have space travel. But you never actually go to any other planets. It's just a lot of stuff is there, and it's just it was really good fun. You saw me play this game, but now it looked terrible compared to this.
So say I always heard like Beyond Good and Evil is a good game, but when I saw images of it and like it just looks so damn like I don't know if I can enjoy it.
Yeah, they have the remaster out. I think I like it because it's that era where like I feel like I started a game which is like PS1 graphics, or like going back and play Final Fantasy, say like 7. I don't know. It's almost like so bad in such a way that it's just stylized. And I don't know if you're looking at the original or the remaster. The remaster I don't think was too bad. And actually, fun story is my D&D character, his name comes from Beyond Good and Evil, one of the characters. Not specifically a character, I didn't rename it, but a phrase that one of them says that I'd highly recommend it if you have a copy. It was really entertaining. And it's just a cool aesthetic. A lot of real fun to play. And I was like excited because it's something where I didn't think it was ever going to come out. It would be like any game that, it's like, oh, a sequel's. We're working on it, or like the example I always think of is like any kind of like video game movie where it's like, yeah, we're working on that Halo movie. It's like, yeah, it's not happening.
Well, because I think it became District 9.
Yeah, that's what I had heard too. But there's always like one out there where it's like, yeah, we're making a movie. Are you like enthralled by this, Jamie? Does this remind you of the game I was playing?
I barely remember it.
Is that the same character, the girl?
No, because this is a prequel, and I don't know who these people are. I think they're going to be new characters. I think you see the character's mother at the end of the trailer.
Okay, I was going to say, because I thought the main character was like Asian.
Yeah, something like that. Her name's Jade. She has a whole Jade thing going on.
Jade thing.
Like her, she has like the color Jade like painted on her eyes and her.
On her eyes?
Yeah, like underneath.
Oh, it's like shadow?
Yeah, but it's almost like it's close to like football paint.
Eyeshadow doesn't go.
But no, but like, it's like thick. It's not just like a little bit under the shadow, if I recall. And then like that's the only color she wears and stuff. I actually really love you to play the game just because it's an interesting story to talk about. Because like a lot of stuff happens and it's just so kind of its own little thing.
Why is it called Beyond Good and Evil?
I have no idea. I think they might have dropped the title at some point, like, oh hey, this is blank 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 Beyond Good and Evil or something. But I don't recall whatsoever. So I just saw it. I was like super excited, like, oh man, that was an awesome game. I wish they made a sequel. And then like 6 months later, oh wow, this is awesome. Because the game came out like, I don't know, 10 years ago. I think that's the main character of one's mother, I assume. The chick right there. Because she looks like that. I don't know if she'll turn around. But that's basically it.
Yeah, she definitely has a shadow on her eyes.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that's the mother. I guess it could be a sequel, but based off the ending of the game, I don't know where they would take it.
Why would they call it 2 though if it's a prequel?
I don't know. But just the way it ended, it would make more sense to have a prequel because a lot of the stuff that happens is her like figuring out like her uncle is the pigman, Paige. And basically a lot of it is him talk
By actual relation.
No, I don't think so. I think it's just like friend.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is like finding about how her parents were in some resistance or something. So it would make sense to kind of have a prequel, I guess. Or it could be like, I don't know, maybe it references a lot of stuff in the past, but technically takes place in the future. I don't know. I was just super excited. It reminded me of like the way I would describe it. The feel of it was like, I know I went over to Jamie's and we played Katamari. Katamari, Jamie, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a fucking really weird game, but just everything about it is super weird, but it just does its own thing. It's like it's over here. It does its own thing. It does it really well.
It's a great game, though.
It is. Have you ever played Katamari? Do you know what it is?
I'll have to ask if I can borrow, because I could play it on the 3, I think, right?
Yeah.
So I might have to ask my sister if I could borrow that.
Katamari,
I mean, he knows. You've seen what Katamari is, right?
Probably have. It's just not.
you guaranteed.
Wait, is it Nintendo?
No, it was PlayStation always, I believe.
Okay.
You like roll around and you pick stuff up, and as you do, your ball gets bigger and bigger, and you can pick up bigger things.
I've seen this,
It is
but
ridiculously fun.
okay, actually, I would say I haven't seen this. I've seen a bunch of games.
This is
about it
Katamari
before.
Forever.
This is essentially what Knack was that came out for like the PS4 when it first came out. Was this except it's robots? I'm pretty sure that's what Knack was.
It was probably by the same studio, but look at how much is going on. But when you go and play it, the music's amazing. You're totally into it. Every little thing is like great humor, and then it isn't until the end that all this crazy stuff makes sense. Like there's a little thing at the end where they kind of explain like when you played this game, particularly we played Katamari Forever, I think, right?
This is Katamari Forever.
There's like these weird like cutscenes in between levels, and it just looks like a super weird like I don't know, Japanese show from like the 80s. And it makes no sense. And then something happens at the end of it. It's like, oh, this was the prequel to the game. And it finally makes sense. It's so much fun. And then you get really big and you roll up like planets and constellations. It's so much fun. I'd love to play it sometime if you ever get a chance.
It sounds like Gurren Lagann.
It was something that I wanted to play eventually, and then Jamie had it. So it was great.
Actually, it was one of my friends' like they own the game, and then they let us borrow it.
So you wanted to talk about Scorpio.
Project Scorpio, which honestly, like a lot of people are like, oh, Scorpio, that sounds stupid. And I'm like, nah, Scorpio sounds cool. I like that. It, like, I don't know. It's got, celestial, connotation to it. I thought it was cool. They revealed the name. Do you know what it's called?
No, I don't.
I was excited to hear about this console. I don't know how much it is yet. I don't know if they said how much it is yet. I probably get it eventually because I think it might get VR someday. They call it the Xbox One X.
Oh, is that the official name?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's fucking stupid. I mean, I thought that, Xbox One, okay, I can see where that name came from. It's fine. Xbox, the X is already DirectX. Why do you need Xbox One X? Why?
Have you seen? There's so many great jokes out on Reddit right now about that because.
But what? The X?
Yeah, where it's like introducing the elite version of Xbox One X, the XX Xbox Sniper X, because like everyone used to do that on like Xbox. Is they want to have like a name like I don't know, Awesome Sniper, but that's taken, so they just add X's to the side of it.
Yep.
And I thought that was really fucking clever.
Or something similar to that.
We have a text in by Ellie, Jamie. So, Supernatural spoilers. She says, OMG, Castiel just came back and I just can't. Supernatural is too good.
Castiel is my favorite.
You can say it, waifu.
No, he's not my waifu.
Husbando.
Husbando.
That's what I always hear is.
No, just Castiel is just such a good character.
Well, waifu's not a thing. Waifu's like completely made up by Western people. Yeah. Like that's so. Yeah. That's why, like, you say, like, I think you're actually the one that introduced me to the term waifu. Like, what? I'm like, what the hell is that? And you're like, it's like you're like Japanese, like.
I told you there's a dude I knew in college who told me completely seriously, he's like, yeah, Mikasa from Attack on Titan, she's my waifu. I'm like, and he was completely serious, and it was out of nowhere. We were playing like Gears of War, and he was like, yeah.
Is that the same person who's like, fuck this, I'm gonna go watch hentai?
No, that was the dude I played Dota with, where he got so mad at Dota, he's like, fuck this game, I'm gonna go watch hentai, and he just logged out of the Skype call, and you knew he was serious. Shout out to Raymond. I don't know his last name.
I don't know if he was the Skype or the Dota guy or the wife.
So anything else you want to say about Scorpio? I don't really know anything about it.
I don't know much about it. Like, I'm sure it's got 6 teraflops compared to the PlayStation 4's 4. What that means, I have no fucking idea.
Processor speed, essentially, I guess.
What does that mean for gameplay?
Be faster? I don't know. Is it, or it might be graphics card? So
I just hit the mic.
A flop is like you can hold ones and zeros. It flops. So teraflop is just like how many of those you have.
Well, 6 teros of them.
I think that's a measure of graphic cards or CPU. I don't know.
I just know, I think technically it's going to have I think it also beats the Pro for closer to 4K resolution. I don't have a 4K TV.
My monitor's 4K. And it's a pain is I have a 4K monitor, but my PC can't quite handle it. So like, it's amazing to edit on my 4K monitor because it's essentially massive. It's got 4,000 pixels. But my computer, like to render that, it slows it down. So I have to choose between, can I have everything in one window, but it physically takes longer, or squish it back into my 720p monitor, but it's fast. It's like, God damn it. So instead I just play stuff while I edit, and that's how I get by. Which usually is Gears of War, because I want to get that, because I'm grinding. And what game pisses you off the most? Like, what game gets under your skin the most, Andrew? And you're away from the mic again.
You're drifting.
Probably because I hit it, actually. True. What do you mean?
Like, I know, like, Destiny Crucible usually gets you, where you're like, God damn it.
Yeah.
That's your go-to swear. God damn it.
God damn it. Fucking Titans and Warlocks, motherfucker. I don't care if you're like, oh my God, the guy got me with the golden gun again. It's like, fucking get you cross maps. Like, yeah, at least you got to aim with that.
So is that the game that gets under your skin the most?
Probably. Any other game that gets under my skin more, I just wouldn't play. Probably. So, because like, motherfucker, Destiny screwed me first time around, and it took you to get me back in it after all the good stuff came out, and they finally fixed it to be a game worth what they said it would be originally.
We need a raid. We need to get that gun. Outbreak Prime.
Have you heard from that?
I mean, I could message him. We just need to schedule it, I think, but we could also find someone else. But for me, it's Gears of War. And I'm trying to grind. I want to get seriously 4.0. And I thought I had to basically prestige 5 times. It turns out it's 10. That's not that bad, because really, they don't take that long. Like, in Gears 2, it was a lot of time, but each re-up is fine. Plus, every 10 levels, you get, like, credits and shit. But the Gears of War multiplayer, I think I like it because it's just so visceral. But it's like the only game that gets like really under my skin. Like I was playing freaking King of the Hill, and I got a quad kill. 6 people on the team. I killed 4. 5th guy rolled up, killed me, took the winning point. I wanted to and I just saw on my fucking like in-game map, my team's like all huddled in some corner somewhere, like fighting the one other guy who's alive. I'm like, I want to snap my controller right now. I was so mad because it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, it really gets me. I get heated.
You're hitting buttons.
I am hitting buttons. I need to put my keyboard down. I'm heated. That's how annoyed I am. I don't know why. It's just Gears that gets me. And I'm not even particularly good at Gears. But I think what sucks is like in Gears you're like always 3 seconds away from wiping the other enemy team. But you're also like 3 seconds away from dying yourself. Like someone had a stat that like you encounter an enemy player every 6 seconds in Gears of War, like multiplayer. Every 6 seconds.
Like on average?
On average, yeah. And considering everyone has a bunch of one-shot, one-kill weapons, it's just so intense. Fuck. Like, I don't usually scream, but that game makes me almost. Normally I'm pretty calm playing Destiny. It's like, oh yeah, snipe. That game, fuck it. Oh my, I can't snipe in that game. I wanted to put together clips. It's amazing how many times I like pull out the sniper and like horde. Like I'm gonna go shoot, lining up the headshot, and then one like fucking drone from across the map hits me like barely, and my like sniper just goes fucking all over, and I shoot the air, and then everyone's like, you missed. Fuck off. Or I'm like trying to shoot, it's multiplayer, and then right as I go to pull the trigger, someone like rolls in front of me, and you just see the bullet hit his foot. I can make so many clips of that. It happens all the fucking time. I don't know how, but it's always like they roll by and I hit him in the head, like the one frame, the bullet's coming out. I don't know why, but I get so heated. It's only that game does that. It fucks me.
See, that's like fucking.
That's why I play it.
Crucible, Warlock, Titans. I feel like motherfucker, those are not balanced for multiplayer. I feel like they're. I mean, it's just. I mean, with the Titans, you Blade Dancer. I feel like Blade Dancer is potentially the most devastating for a hunter. Super to go off, but it's also really easy to shut down. So it could either completely destroy or it usually fucking fails miserably. And then you have the golden gun, which is fine unless and they just like fucking like Twitch super and just fuck you. It's like, oh, okay, thanks. I'm like, there are times like it can be a response to other Titans. Like if I feel like if a Titan starts activating their super, you can activate your super and shoot them before they shoot you, or you shoot them before they hit you, but the hammer's still in the air and it still kills you, or you hit them. Or I don't know. God damn it! Like people used to be mad. It's like, oh yeah, well the Shadow Dancer, his one when it first came out, it was just a time thing, so you could just shoot out many arrows it took before the thing happens. Like, yeah, but you also kind of like would float off to the side when it would do it. So sometimes you would like activate if you had any movement at lateral movement at all, you would continue doing that. So there'd be times like you're going like lined up, wall.
That has fucked me so many times because it shifts. Not only does it do you float, it shifts in the third person. Yeah. So it shifts your aim. So I'm like, I'll be standing still like by a doorway, like to my right, and I'm like, let's super, and then it shifts to the right, so I just shoot the door. And it's like, fucker, and then like, oh, he's super and kill him.
Yeah, it's like, but he could like, go on things where he's like doing that. It's like the Titan has a hammer that one hit kills you if any sort of fire touches you, and he's just throwing explosive hammers everywhere. How is that more devastating than a fucking arrow that can only kill one person per hit?
Gotta get good. Sniper, boom, headshot.
Okay, what I'm trying to say is like, oh yeah, the Hunter's supers were OP. It's like, no, everyone else's supers are OP. I will not concede that the Hunters are more. It's like, golden gun, you can kill 3 people across maps. Like, yeah, but at least you have to aim. All the other supers are just either completely no aiming necessary, like the hammer or the fists, or just Nova bombs that takes up like half a room, so you just have to be within like the same arena as the person, you'll kill them. Or just, god damn it, I hate the Warlock and I hate the Titan in Crucible.
You should play them and then you'll be better.
No, because on principle I hate them, and like they're bullshit. Shoulder charge. Motherfucker, shoulder charge.
You know that the Sunbreaker Titan, when you're super, it has a enhanced shoulder charge. I think you saw me do it one time, and you went off on a whole tirade, like, what? They have that too? It's bullshit.
It is bullshit.
It's a lot of fun. Or the Warlock Storm Trance one, the electric one, that is by far the most damaging one. You're just unstoppable.
Why would you make it so unbalanced?
Jamie, what do you get heated about?
I don't really play very many games, but at times Pokemon pisses me off when you're either trying to catch a legendary or you're trying to grind to get your team leveled up.
That pisses you off? Not like, what about when your Pokemon gets like confused? Do you ever have like dumb situations where like you put the Pokemon asleep but your Pokemon's confused, but you can't hit it to wake it up, so you just like hit yourself, but they won't wake up to like help you?
What?
Say I have like a Drowsy. They have, I don't know, a Haunter or some shit. They confuse me, and then I use Hypnosis. So now they're asleep, and I am confused.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
And so I can't hit them to wake them up so they can kill me and get this over with, because I'm confused. I'm hurting myself. But they won't wake up until I hit them. So it's just this back and forth.
That's not how that works. Hitting them doesn't necessarily wake them up. It's basically like being confused. Like, how long does it affect the person?
It's by turn,
so
right?
It's some sort of equation goes to like how many turns have they been affected, and then it does a chance, essentially like a save to like recover. So sleeping, they'll only be affected for so long. Confusion, they'll be affected for so long, and they just every turn they have a chance to snap out of it. Now, like, because I know that's a thing, because I know there's a wake up slap is a move that does massive damage to an opponent that's sleeping, but the trade off is then you wake it up. Like, it guarantees to wake it up.
Okay.
I also hate it when you're trying to get the Pokemon you're trying to catch down to a really, really low health level, and then it gets confused, and then it's like, don't you fucking hurt yourself, and then it hurts itself in its confusion, and then it is...
I remember as a kid, I had Silver, and then I bought Soul Silver. But you know how they have like 1 or 2 built-in trades in the game? We just trade an NPC.
Yeah.
And it was something like in Silver, you trade like a Bellsprout for an Onyx. And I remember I didn't understand that you needed like badges to have your Pokemon obey you if you trade it. You know, like, that's a thing. So you don't just give yourself like a 99
Yeah.
fucking thing. I didn't understand that. So I was just so mad. It's like, I have this one Onyx who's like level 40 and everything else is level 10. Why won't you fucking listen to me? He's like, Onyx ignores you. He's like, I don't understand what's going on. You're the only one alive because you're a fucking Onyx and you're level 40. Everything else is dead. I have no hope. I was like, what? Why? And then I was like, I read the fucking manual. It's like, oh, shit. I think I started the game over.
How did you get to a point where you had like a level 40 and everything was level 10?
Because trading makes the XP go up faster, so I just used him to beat everything, and he kept getting more and more XP.
So you're saying he just out leveled?
Yeah.
Like I thought that only happened if you acquired them while they were higher level than the badges that you had. So like if you had like up to level 20 and you got a level 20 Pokemon, you're like, oh, it'll obey you, and because it knows you, when it gets to 21, it'll still obey you. I didn't realize that if that happened, I don't know if that's something they fixed. I just want to make sense to me, like why they would like, oh, I'll obey you now, and they get advancement level. I'm like, nah, I won't fucking obey you.
I think it's just balancing, because he was like really high level compared to what it would be, because I had not yet beaten the first gym, and he was like level 40.
That makes no goddamn sense. Like you had to be like grinding with him in your party by itself.
I know exactly where it was. It's in, I guess, like the second town, the first one with the gym. You go south, and it's like there's the docks, and there's like a fuck ton of trainers, and all the guys like Magikarp. So you just go fucking destroy him. I didn't need to trade anything. Got a fuck ton of XP.
You wouldn't get to 40 though.
I was like fucking 8. I don't know exactly the level. I'm sorry.
Maybe like 14.
I restarted the game. I went and got my fucking gas leaf from Bellsprout Tower, and it was good.
Yeah.
So that was what annoyed me, because I didn't understand. He was just like, Onyx doesn't like you, basically. It's like, what does that mean? What does that message mean? Is that an effect? Did I do something? And it was just so confusing.
It's just you.
You tore it from his family.
You know what are they called? Mystery trades. Do you ever do mystery trades in
I think I might have done it once.
Well, I remember like I would always like try to do it, and then the Pokemon I would get weird, super weird like nicknames, or they were like bullshit.
Yep.
Yep.
That's the thing. You like always like try to use shitty Pokemon with really weird names. Like
Yep.
that's all you get.
Why would you use it for anything else? Like I get it's
They
annoying,
would
but
always
like
name
I
some
would
of
do
them
that.
like nudes or something. Like you're sending them.
I would totally do that. All right, I would go fight people online if I could, and I would just name my Pokemon dumb stuff.
That's so.
And then I would totally go in a
common,
fight
though.
knowing he's gonna lose just to make that joke.
I think you'd get reported really quickly.
You could be more clever than that.
Some things you can't name, like because you can't name it. I don't know, but it's kind of like Club Penguin pictures, where it's like how you get banned on Club Penguin.
There was so I follow the speedrunning subreddit on Reddit, and some of the best things that ever come out are, you have your standard stuff like, oh, any percent beat Ocarina of Time, or 100% beat Final Fantasy VII. And then there's the weird category. One of them is the Club Penguin ban percentage. And it was, what you have to do is you have to like, from like the Club Penguin screen, you're like, go, and you can quickly make a new account, generate a password, go, and you just like log in, like, fuck, and you get banned. And then you stop the timer. And people did this to get like the best possible time. But it was great, because like, I'll see if I can find the video. There's a dude who goes in and he's trying to do it. He's like on world record pace, and he like misspells fuck, so he loses like his world record pace because it doesn't ban him.
Well, some of them, I can't tell if they're like actual like ways they got banned or if they're just like funny. But some of the ones that are like, you got banned for saying this is funny.
It'll be something like, hey, you want to hear a joke? And then the kid will be like, no. And then it's like, you've been banned for saying, the fuck did you just say to me? Shit like that.
There's also one where it's like, show me your penguin titties or something. And they got fucking banned. Like they were in like the cafe, and like that was just like the one thing that they typed, and it was just.
I think my favorite one I saw so far was Fallout 4.
Here, I'll recite you one real quick.
The penguin ones?
You were banned for saying bad word. You said, "What the fuck did you just fucking say about me, you little bitch? I will have you know, I graduated top of my class in the Navy SEALs, and I'm involved in numerous secret raids on Al Qaeda."
That's a very old classic 4chan copy of pasta. Where, yeah, I just love that shit. So my most recent one I've been watching, like I do, it was it's Fallout 4 sex percentage, where all you have to do is get laid. That's all you gotta do. And then basically they just like spawn in, they do some shit, and they run straight to a prostitute, pay her, and then they do it, and then you complete it. And then they always kill her. So she's like, thanks. And then just blow her face off with a shotgun. And it's always funny for some reason. It's completely unnecessary. But just like, they're like, yes, bam. I don't know why. It's really funny to me.
Because after they blow their load in her, they have to blow their load in her.
I guess so. But I love those dumb
Do you just go to
percentages.
Bangtown? I mean...
Fallout 4.
Oh, Fallout 4. I'm sorry. Who would be the fucking big one?
It was, I think, some prostitute in a bar somewhere. I tried to skip it around so I didn't see spoilers.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, you haven't played 4.
I have not played 4. I tried to go back to 3, and it's so slow.
I remember you said, like, that was one of the things that you said, like, oh, Fallout New Vegas is so buggy and so slow. It's like nothing like Fallout 3 used to be. I'm like, to me, Fallout New Vegas just seemed like more of the same Fallout 3, except better. Like all that buggy stuff. Like, remember we used to be at party chat and we'd be talking to them. I'm like, oh yeah, and then, there goes another flying rat scorpion.
Well, it was buggy for you. It wasn't for me. For me, it was just so slow. The running.
3.
But I remember, yeah, you'd always talk. It's like, oh, this is bugged out. Oh, this is bugged out. Oh, it crashed again.
Like, I love Fallout 3. I also liked Fallout New Vegas.
It was too slow for me.
Did you ever play Red Dead?
No. I haven't played Red Dead, but that's another thing that's going to be coming out. Did they show anything for Red Dead yet?
I don't know. I haven't really followed it that close.
Also, I guess that one thing is, I think I learned this from Rooster Teeth, was like, so Red Dead, it's like everyone calls it Red Dead. Red Dead Redemption isn't the first Red Dead game. There was another
I played Red
Dead
Dead Redemption then. That's what I'm thinking of.
There was a Red Dead game. I think that's based off of a book, but I don't like no one talks about Red.
Yeah, Red Dead Revolver.
Yeah.
Well, it was like something like, it's like almost like Fallout, where it's like Fallout 3 is a distant step from 1 and 2. And I think with Red Dead Redemption, it was something like that, where it's like there was stuff before it, but it's like a big step. Even though canonically it's the same.
I hear there's a lot of glitches in it though.
In which one?
In Red Dead Redemption. Like there's bird people, or they're like, the people will like glitch into acting like birds where they're flying.
It'll like load the wrong model. Oh.
Yeah, I remember that. I do remember images of that too. I remember in Fallout, or not, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, there'd be every once in a while there'd be something where you're riding a horse for whatever reason, and then all of a sudden you'll just take off, and yeah, you'll just go straight up, and you will keep going straight up, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just flying here. I'm just like. But you're not falling, you're going up. And I don't know why it happened. It just would go, like, I was talking to you in a party one time, like, and I'm still going straight up. I don't know how I'm going to get out of this.
There's a lot of great glitches in Assassin's Creed, though.
There's one that was great.
The boat one. Did I ever show you? Oh, there's like one for Black Flag, I think, where there's like the boat's under the water. And then the people start coming out of the water. And they start playing that song, and it's just...
There's a great one, so... It used to be that in my old apartment, I had my Xbox in my bedroom. And there was one day Jamie stayed over, and we got up the next day, and I was going to play Destiny. I was going to grab like my bounties or something. And I guess I left off at the Cryptarch.
Yep.
Like, that's where it was. And Destiny, if you know that, like, Xbox One tries to, like, resume the game.
Yeah.
But it doesn't do that because it's, like, it's all online, so it doesn't handle that. So it always glitches. But I guess it glitched right by Cryptarch, so all I hear is, I turn on my Xbox, launch Destiny, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, and the Cryptarch's like, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? And Jamie's like freaking out because we had it all like really loud because we were watching a movie, and it's just all of a sudden the Cryptarch's screaming, what do you want? And then it's loud, like, whoa, it was just going everywhere. And it was just like, what is happening?
I also remember it was like something like screaming. I remember this like, I don't know, like a witch thing screaming.
Oh yeah, Omnigul.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
You start playing, you turn it on and the thing's like screaming.
Yeah, it resumed where I guess like because like there's an omnical strike, I think something happened, so I turned it off, I guess. So it resumed with her screaming. This is that high pitched yeah, because it keeps playing the sound file essentially, I guess, because it can't end it. It doesn't know where it left off, but it's terrifying. And this like when that what do you want thing happened, it was like fucking 7 a.m. We got up, I was like, oh yeah, like she was gonna go to the bathroom or something, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna go grab my bounties or something, like to start the day. It's like, and also just, what do you want? What do you want? It was terrifying. And Jamie was like, what's going on?
Green was dark too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like just the cloudy effect. It was weird.
Whenever there's a game that like a big thing is just being online, I always just like whenever I'm done playing the game, I usually exit out and like close the app. So the next time I turn it on and want to play, just starts up normally. It doesn't.
Fucking Mass Effect Andromeda is terrible about that. Yeah, I always do that, and it's like, fuck you. Also, this is a super minor detail about Andromeda. So Andromeda, you have to be online, right? But it bugs the shit out of me that it doesn't check to being online until you hit A on the start.
Yep.
Yeah, super minor, but for some reason, fuck, I decided that.
Well, if you want to go straight to multiplayer, it will automatically just start connecting. If you hit resume or play or whatever, if you doesn't connect, it will not connect.
Yeah.
In single player, which is stupid.
I want to do another run through of Mass Effect Andromeda once I've had some time to pass, just so I can go do all the missions.
I hear like every few days, like, oh, they're patching out new face or like new animation stuff to make things better. I'm like, oh, that's great. I can't wait to start my new playthrough with the DLC that's going to come out sometime and see how everything is supposed to look.
I think they also patched it now that if you're a male shepherd, you can romance Jal. They added that in the recent patch.
Okay.
I want to go back and play Mass Effect all the way through, but that's a long endeavor.
I will say this. So, like, Jal, like, was a thing that he's... wait, can you romance Liam, then, if you're...
I think that was already in.
If you're gay?
Yeah.
Well, no, because there are characters like Liam was straight. Jal is straight. Cora's straight. Then anyone else that is romanceable, I think, is bi. No, that's not true. Because then you have
The engineer, I know what you mean, the dude in the back.
he's gay, and so is Lexi. No, not Lexi. Lexi.
She bangs everything.
I'm talking about the Scottish or Irish doctor who like studies soil, who's always on the bridge.
Oh, Suvi.
Suvi, yeah, she's lesbian too. But like I felt like, okay, this makes sense that like certain characters are like this. But I feel like, but then they're going through and making it either every character gay or bisexual. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, when you mentioned that Suvi was like straight, I was like, man, it seems weird. Like they want to make her an option. Like, oh, she's only into chicks. Like, oh, I actually like that. That's a thing. It makes it feel like it's believable, not like, oh, we're just letting you write your own fan fiction.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Well, but I feel like there was a bit of controversy that like people were figuring out that BioWare was doing a lot of stuff to try to like appease SJWs. Like, for instance, they made the female writer less attractive on purpose.
I can do that myself in the character editor. Thank you very much. I always fuck it up.
Because like they definitely like had a female writer, and then they made her face just butt ugly.
I don't think she's that ugly.
I mean, she's okay, but like I don't know. There was definitely a change, like between like a few weeks up before, and then right away.
Who did you romance?
PB.
PB? Oh yeah, I did Cora the first time, and then I did Vetra and an achievement, I think the Asari Reporter. And I told you, like, my first time around, I had a very specific issue where I guess I did all the options for Cora, and I had to go do more story missions before I could advance it. So I had a situation where Cora wouldn't talk to me, but fucking engineer dude would not stop hitting on my character. Like, every time I'm like, hey, he wants to talk to you again. And then I'd go check my emails, like, how about that poker game, man? Although I thought it was really cute. He's like, the way I guess he tries to find out if you're like into dudes or not is he talks about his friend who is the specialist on, I don't know what it is called, breeding.
Population.
Yeah, repopulation. And so it's like, oh, would you ever want to do that? Have a baby with someone? And it's obviously him trying to get like an answer.
See, you say that like you've had all these responses with. Oh yeah, Gil.
Yeah, that was it.
That he like was always like gay. Like it never came across to me that way. I thought it was like whenever he was talking to, the way I interpreted it when he was talking about like ever doing that was it sounded like he just didn't want to. He's like, I'm not straight. I don't want to bang a chick, and she wants me to have babies with someone. I don't like that, and I'm trying to get affirmation that I don't have to. Mm-hmm. That's how I interpreted that.
I just thought it was neat. Otherwise, I feel like it wasn't. That conversation felt unnatural. Like, why would he necessarily bring that up if it wasn't for a purpose? Like, I remember, like, I don't know, it just felt like really out of character. Like, you made me fly across the fucking nebula to have a fucking 5-minute chat with your fucking friend. Thanks. And I get, like, for him, it's supposed to be like, oh, when you're in that area anyway. But I fucking...
Wait, was that on Eden?
He's on EOS.
No, because, like, he said, like, oh, come see that. Because my thing was, how do you resolve that? by the way?
We just chatted.
Really?
Yeah.
That's it? Nothing happens?
I don't think anything
Because
happens.
when I was doing it, the whole thing was she wanting to do it wanted him to be the donor. That she wanting to have that, she wanted his kid.
Maybe I told him, maybe I did encourage that.
Like, so like it's the thing, like he's being cambered by like his chick friend, and he doesn't know what to do, and like he legitimately wants advice on how to deal with this. And they're like, well, I mean, you don't have to be straight to do the thing. Like it just has to be done. And it's like, and she wants to do it, and I mean, it might be a good thing for you. Who knows? And like, so that was the thing. And then he was like really happy about it.
If you do it again, I totally recommend. I went the Vetra one. That was a really cute storyline.
The one thing that bothers me in the Mass Effect games are like, oh, everyone's like, oh yeah, like I'm so into like this alien that's not very humanoid. I'm like,
Hanner.
that doesn't make, I don't understand like, oh yeah, it's cool that you can bang an alien. I'm like, okay, but it's like, there's a difference between like banging the Asari that mentally they're meant to look very much like the Perceiver. So it's because we're human, they look very humanoid. But it's another thing, like trying to bang a Turian. It's like, I don't even know where to touch, or like what. I don't even. There's nothing like personable on a like biological scale. Like they have eyes and they got a mouth. I can see that they got legs, arms, but they're like got metal exoskeletons. How do I deal with?
You gotta explore.
So like that's like so like the Vetra's like I like Vetra's character, but like another thing, I just can't imagine that being like a thing my character would do.
I don't see how it works with Jal or any of the Angara. I feel like that'd be a weird step.
I don't know, like I guess I don't know what their organs are like their sex organs.
They got like the giant like long nipple things,
They're not nipples. They're
but they're like in that spot.
like,
That's why it's weird.
they go like that. Like I don't know what
Yeah.
I think it's the electrical nervous system that they have like that goes down their body.
This is really specific, Jamie.
They found there was full I think almost complete nudity in this one.
Yeah, that surprised me.
I wasn't ready for I didn't think it was gonna happen.
That was weird. Yeah, I remember there's a point where like Jal and
Oh, Liam.
yeah,
Like go in the room and they're just naked.
Yeah.
Like I think they're wearing a towel.
yeah, which is weird.
No,
It's a
Liam's
joke.
wearing a towel, but Jawl isn't.
Yeah,
But you don't get to see anything. You see his
Yeah.
butt, I think. You might see his butt.
but no, I remember it was the thing is he just sits down, and since I didn't leave, he didn't like change back to his armor. So then I had to have like an actual like story conversation with him. Just him sitting on a couch in the towel, and I was like, "This is weird. I'm just gonna come back."
Liam, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like, that was a very real moment. It's like, you're in the towel. I'm just going to come back and we can do this fucking dialogue option later. Because this is weird. But I knew the game just didn't reload the model. Like, he wasn't meant to be naked for the conversation. It was just, he was.
Wanted to be naked for the
Well,
conversation.
because
wanted to be
he
naked.
didn't leave. He didn't get dressed during the time you were talking
But
to
no,
him.
it was weird because, like, did you do it? It was when he was talking about, like, the car he sent. So it was like this really heartfelt situation. But then he was also naked the whole time.
Well,
So
right.
it was
Well,
weird. And it's a long
It wasn't meant to be
conversation.
that way. It just happened to be because, like, if you
Yeah.
had that conversation with him, he wouldn't have had time to change out of his towel yet.
It was weird. It was weird, Jamie. You playing anything else? I'm starting up. I'm going to play Resident Evil 4 a little bit for my channel.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there a
Good game.
remastered of that or something?
Yeah. Looking forward to it. I really like those games. Like, I love Silent Hill, and it's the same. And one of the reasons I wanted to play it is I was like, oh, I want to play it. And then I loaded it up. It's like, this is exactly like Dead Rising Chop to Drop, because that's what it is. It's a Resident Evil port, essentially. And it makes way more sense as a Resident Evil game, like the mechanics.
Wait, on what console?
This is on the Xbox One.
So everything's bigger,
Yeah.
and you can have more enemies on screen.
Yeah. But like just the mechanics of like the tank controls, and like you can't just like run off the edges. You have to go up and like hit drop, and combining herbs and stuff. You can totally see how the Dead Rising Chop to Drop ended up the way it did because of it having to be built off Resident Evil. Jamie saw some of it. It was spooky.
Spooky.
But they're not zombies. The game insisted, not zombies.
They're infected.
It's complicated. Play some Resident Evil.
Because, like, like, Resident Evil gets weird with the undead.
It's more like kind of like the plot of Fallout, where it's like they have like
ghouls.
well, all the mutations come from that FEV virus in Fallout. You know what I'm talking about? They had that forced evolutionary virus, and that's why it's something like that, where there's an evil corporation called Umbrella Corp, and they have something like that, and that's what causes it. And the big twist in Resident Evil is you go to a spooky mansion. Oh my God, zombies! You go in the mansion. Oh, Evil Underground Lab. It's not zombies. It's just like mutated people and shit.
Well, I thought the originals were zombies. It was just brought on by the corporation.
Well, that's like the twist. I mean, whether or not they're actually dead or just like infected, I don't know the specifics of.
because I think they technically die. I think you have to die before you become them.
Yeah, but that's not.
Because to be a zombie, you
focus.
have to be undead, right?
No,
Or like you're
you don't have to
dead
die.
and then...
I don't think, because it's a thing when in that game when you kill a zombie, its corpse stays there, and if you don't come back and burn it, when you go back through the mansion again, there'll be a stronger version of the zombie because it'll like regrow and shit. It's like a mechanic in the game, so you have to know when you go around, you have to like find gas and burn all the corpses, and it's a big part of that game is where you kill them. Because I think there's certain ones you can't burn. So you want to make sure, like, oh, I want to kill him in the room that I can lock. Because when I come back here, I want to be able to do that.
That's interesting. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, there's spoilers. But that's, I think, in the original Resident Evil. Or maybe one of the later ones. But there's a lot of stuff like that, like small little mechanics, that you have to really justify, like, your use of resources. But also the fact that zombies are only one small portion of the enemies in those games. Like, it's not like you're fighting zombies the majority. It's also, like, a bunch of other really crazy shit.
And Wesker.
And what?
Wesker.
I don't know what that is.
He's the blonde-haired sunglasses antagonist that always dies. But he also is in every game.
I've never heard of that.
You've never heard of Wesker?
No.
Okay.
I'll have to see him.
Okay.
Yeah.
You played the first one, though.
Resident Evil? No. I've just seen stuff. That's why I wanted to play 4, is I wanted that to be like my entry point.
Okay. Because I'm pretty sure he's also in that.
I've played like 10 minutes of 1, but I feel like 1 is still like super dated. So, and it's just very clunky, which is why it's scary.
How do you shoot in that game?
You just hold the gun, you like enter your game stance, and then you have auto aim. And you can go up or you can go down, and you only have 3 positions. So down, straight, up, and then it'll try an auto aim, but the auto aim is not very good.
So you just are missing a lot of the time.
Or you have to like gauge it where you like your character like slowly raises the gun, so you have to go like up, like, and then quickly fire. It's like to get headshots.
Why quickly?
Because if you hold it too long, he'll aim too high.
Oh.
So like if I go, I'm in this position, and if I hold up, I'll be up here. You have to like hit it while my fist is raising to be able to shoot just right. It's very clunky, but intentionally so.
Okay.
Whereas 4 has kind of better mechanics, and then from then on, like 5, 6, and are a lot more action based, and then 7 I think is first person.
William. That's a game William and Alex half and half.
I really want to play that one.
It's got a good song. I like the creepy like theme song of the game. You ever?
I've not heard any of it.
It's
Environmental, like the environment is really good.
no. Well, I'm talking about like actual song, like not just like background music. Like it's Go Tell It Rhodey. It's Go Tell It Rhodey, but it's done really creepy, and they changed a few words.
So we are completely at time. We're like 20 minutes over.
I was about to ask how are you doing on time.
I always forget to set a timer, and I mean to fix it, but I need to make checklists for all my shows so I know what to do beforehand, so I don't forget dumb stuff like turn off the AC or start a timer on your phone, Grant. But yeah, we're at time. So I am Grant.
Andrew.
Jamie.
And thanks for watching. We'll see you again next week.